There were backstage injury fears for a top WWE star yesterday. Plus, we have an update on Bray Wyatt's WWE return and the latest on AEW Blood and Guts. It's all in the wrestling news right now. So Becky Lynch was being reported upon hours before Monday Night Raw. She had a scheduled match with Zoe Stark that was reportedly pulled from the internal listings.
Right.
Because of an undisclosed injury to Becky Lynch. So the word was going around that Becky would not be part of the show. And then that was changed very shortly before the show and she was back on it.
Yes, she was re-added to the internal lineup and it did go ahead as planned with Zoe Stark beating Becky Lynch with, of course, if you've seen the show, help from Trish Stratus. That feud continues to rumble on. But yeah, there's a bit of a mysterious situation there with Becky when she was in, then she was out. In our previous news video, which you can find on this very channel right now, we talked about Johnny Gargano, and Becky here has pulled like a reverse Johnny Gargano. Gargano is apparently...
Gargano thing was back in Cleveland.
Oh, sorry, yes.
So this was the one from last night.
So Gargano, as we talked about in the last video, kind of is fine to wrestle now, was thought to be on the show and then plans changed and they pulled him. Whereas here, Becky might have been out of the show, but then plans changed back and she was included again. So hopefully she's okay.
Yeah, some question marks about that one. It's very rare that we get a report that says a match has been pulled and then the match is unpulled.
Yes.
Very rare that it goes that way round.
Yeah.
So it's one that we're going to keep an eye on. Another name that we're keeping an eye on is that of Bray Wyatt, not seen since WrestleMania. What's the latest on Bray?
According to Fightful Select, Bray Wyatt still isn't set for a return. When Fightful inquired about Wyatt's status, a WWE higher-up confirmed to them that Bray is still sidelined and is still not cleared for action. They are told that he's still awaiting clearance and hopeful for a return whenever that occurs. Now, this still feels like a very curious situation because Bray was being built up for WrestleMania. A lot of people thought it was going to be a match with Bobby Lashley and then just disappeared like that.
And for better or for worse, there was a lot of storyline effort going into Bray Wyatt.
Oh, they were putting a lot of TV time into Bray Wyatt. Yeah.
A lot was going into it. So for it just to suddenly disappear, I don't think was something that they maybe planned.
No, it led to all kinds of rumors and speculation all around that it wasn't to do with his health at all, that it was to do with creative disputes and everything. Obviously, it goes without saying that if it is indeed a health issue, then we of course wish Bray a full and speedy recovery. And I hope that it's not that. You never want someone's health to be the reason they're missing time. But there's still a lot hanging over this one. There's still a lot of question marks around it.
There's a lot of question marks about Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. So they broke up back in November. And it hasn't seemed to have ended.
No, it certainly hasn't seemed to have ended. Fightful are saying that there are plans to finally do a Swerve versus Keith Lee blow-off match at some point. When I read Tom's notes about this, I quickly hopped onto cagematch.net to quickly confirm, a great resource.
Thank you, Keith Cage Match, for all the hard work you do.
To quickly confirm that there hadn't indeed been a blow-off match between the two, because I thought surely there must have been, but no, there never was. They continue to kind of go at each other. There were different, at one point Keith was feuding with just various members of Swerve's faction, his allies, but it seems like finally now they are going to have some sort of blow-off match.
I don't know why this has stalled and stumbled the way that it has. No. There's been several jumping off points where you could have had a Keith Lee and Swerve singles match, and they just haven't, and they kind of drifted off into doing separate random things. I don't know what I've really made of Keith Lee's run in AEW. I'm going to be quite frank.
I feel like they could have utilised it. But you could say it for loads of different people.
There's a lot of people you could say that for.
Keith is definitely one of those who combines in-ring ability, look, size and charisma as well. He's a total package. He's got everything. And yeah, it's quite frustrating sometimes.
It was frustrating when it was in WWE and it's frustrating when it was in AEW.
Well, it's especially frustrating for us here on Cultaholic because, as you know, we are huge fans of Keith Lee.
And we don't forget about Keith.
Don't forget about him.
Don't you forget about Keith.
Fightful do say that they don't know yet an exact date for this blow-off match. They just say that it's going to take place at some point, they are told. But Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland recently were paired up in that blind eliminator tag team tournament that's going on. So that could possibly be another potential jumping off point leading to a match between the two. Hopefully they don't squander this one, the booking team.
One would hope. While some bits of AEW flavoured creative leave us questioning things, the match quality certainly doesn't. In fact, Jack the Jobber's matches of the month contains quite a lot of elements of AEW goodness this week.
It does this week. Thank you very much for plugging it there, Tom. Yes, you can find it on the Cultaholic audio feed anywhere you get your podcast. podcasts and that sort of thing. It's also currently my pinned tweet at Jack the Jobber on Twitter, if you are indeed still on the burning dumpster fire that is that is Twitter. So yeah, check it out. I talk about all the best matches from the month of June, and then at the end of this month we'll talk about all the ones from July, including Money in the Bank, which I think fell on like the first weekend of the month. So that's going to be in the next episode.
Staying on the podcast feed, 2 Desert Island Graps episodes for you in the next 2 days. You've got tomorrow Speedball Mike Bailey ahead of Impact Wrestling Slammiversary this weekend, and today you will have North Wrestling champion Liam Slater on Desert Island Graps ahead of North's biggest show ever, Thunderstruck, at the Newcastle Walker Dome on Saturday.
And one half of the former WCPW Tag Team Champions, Liam Slater, as well.
Of course.
We go way back. What a guy.
We dig deep into like the history of WCPW.
Really? I can't wait to listen to this.
No stone unturned. It's great when we get WCPW alumnus on.
Liam's one of those guys who really is worth listening to, because I think he's great at not only telling his own stories, but explaining why things matter and explaining why things... I ran in on one of his matches once, and he was so good at breaking down to me what to do and when and why, and to slow it down. And he's just a great student of the game.
He headlines North Wrestling's biggest show ever at the Walker Dome this Saturday, July the 15th, the North Wrestling Thunderstruck. He's on Desert Island Graps before that later on today. Blood, sweat and tears from the career of Liam Slater. Blood and guts on the cards.
All the fluids.
That's why they pay me the big bucks. They're this big. For AEW Blood and Guts, we have an update on the match, on the lineup for the double ring shenanigans.
We do. Tony Khan tweeted this Wednesday on TBS, with Blood and Guts in Boston only 1 week away, the Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite will each reveal the 5th man joining their teams this week on Wednesday Night Dynamite. So we're going to officially find out this week. There's various potential names floating around. Originally we just thought on one side of things, but now with Bryan Danielson's injury as well, kind of compounding the difficulties there, it seems like we're going to reveal a member from each team, which is going to be big news.
It's been interesting to see the names that have been in and out and shaking it all about of Blood and Guts. Eddie Kingston off the match because he's got other things going on, doing the G1, small match of the New Japan G1. We've had Don Callis courting Chris Jericho to possibly join that group. We even had reports yesterday that CM Punk has pitched himself to enter the Blood and Guts match on Team Blackpool Combat Club.
That's kind of what would make the most sense given everything that's gone on over the past year, but at the same time I feel like he's just stirring the pot. I don't think I don't know if it was a serious pitch.
A lot of delightful rumours around Kota Ibushi as well joining the Elite.
I think it surely has to be him, at least on the Elite side of things, because you've got the whole history with him and Kenny Omega. It's been hinted at before on AEW TV, and I think this could well be the time to see it come to fruition. But on the Blackpool Combat Club side of things, yeah, I guess Jericho's the one in the hot seat right now. He looks like the most likely, given last week's segment with Don. What do you... I don't know.
We're going to find out.
We're
going to find out tomorrow night on AEW Dynamite TE. And, of course, for the latest wrestling news throughout the day, you can check out Cultaholic.com. Comment below with what your Brock Lesnar is today. We hope you find your way through it. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.